Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea and I hope you feel at home here. I wanted to talk about the 2026 colors of the year. I am so late to this, like it's way past late, like so late, but I still wanted to talk about it. And to be quite honest with y'all, I did film a video already. I just wanted to start over and say what I really thought. I felt like I was being really nice in that video, and I never want to come across as like super negative or anything, but I do have opinions and I don't feel like I was quite as honest in sharing them as I should have been. So what is color of the year? Why do we even have color of the year? It's so interesting. Color of the year by Pantone was invented in 1999 to engage the design community and color enthusiasts around the world in a conversation around color. So really it's just to bring people together so they can chit chat about color and the meaning of it and what they think the next trends are going to be. And who are these people that get together to talk about those things? Basically, it's Pantone that releases the color of the year, and then various paint companies do as well. So the Pantone Color Institute team is actually the one that does it for their company. And they get together with people from different cultures, different countries, different ways of life, and they collaborate and talk about what they think the color of the year should be. It's not one meeting, but a lot of meetings over the year to discuss how they think culture and trends are going to be set with the colors, and then decide what they think the trend color is going to be of the upcoming year. These are experts who teach classes on color, graphic designers, anyone who has anything to do with color wants to be a part of this and has authority to talk about color with Pantone. So what does it mean? And why do we even have a color of the year? Basically, it comes down to trend predicting, cultural reflection, and commentary on interior design, which I feel like in our modern era is totally working with social media. And even with this video, we're having a conversation about color. We're talking about color. Would we be talking about color like this if we didn't have a color of the year? But even in 1999, which is like pre-social media era, right? You had lots of interior design magazines, you had blogs, if you could remember blogs, and people in the design spaces were talking about color. And this was a great way to get the conversation started so that you could be in the limelight and talk about your color of the year. So with that being said, let's look at the different colors for 2026. The color of the year for Valspar is warm eucalyptus. It's a green type color, very calming and chill. Among the trend drivers that inspired this color choice is that of mindful living, slowing down time and injecting restorative design to appreciate small moments. Color that is restful to the eye is restful to the soul. And Sue Kim, the director of color marketing for Valspar, says, "In the coming year, we will redefine our notion of neutral hues. Going beyond the classified color term, neutral refers to colors that set a grounding and inviting mood with the warmth that calms our senses." I'm not mad at this color. I think it's a fine color. It's green. And this is what I find really interesting, is that to me, this is a neutral. And I know it's also a color, but like green, I feel like the past few years has really pushed itself into the realm of neutrals, especially with like millennial green and everyone doing green tiles in their bathroom and everyone being obsessed with plants. I feel like green kind of is a neutral. And that's kind of what this one is giving to me, as like a very inoffensive, it's still a color, but it's a very neutral color. And I don't know, I feel like choosing a neutral isn't like the most brave thing, but I also wouldn't totally say it's a wrong trend, but I feel like it's been happening for the past few years already. Bear's 2026 color of the year is Hidden Gem. I could not find a quote as to why this color was chosen by Bear. However, it's still kind of a green. It's like a green, like jade type color. One thing I do find really interesting on their website is that it seems to change color based on the sunlight. And while some paints do that, that's important to get swatches, I feel like with this color, you would have to get huge swatches done in whatever room you're going to put it in, because it looks so different based on the sunlight and shadows, and whether you get it flat or eggshell or satin. I feel like that's really going to play a role here. So it's really interesting they would pick a color that kind of seems to change color, and I don't know. I find that really interesting. This one is a little bit less of a neutral to me because it's got more of like the blue and green in it, and it feels more bold, like it's making a statement. This is one I think that would be really good for color washing. Everyone's really into the color washing, like the dark academia, and like, you know, when you picture a study in your house with a bunch of books, I feel like this would be the color for that. And I also feel like I've seen it a lot in the past like 5 years. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like since like 2020, we've been seeing this kind of color. So trending for 2026, I'm not really sure if look, I'm not an expert. I am not in this room of experts, but so far we have 2 greens, which are basically neutral and not all that interesting, and also not all that groundbreaking. I don't know. I feel like Miranda Priestley a little bit. Sherwin-Williams color of the year for 2026 is universal khaki. The quote that Sherwin-Williams gave for universal khaki is, "Tailored and timeless. Find strength and simplicity with universal khaki SW6150, an essential neutral selected by our color experts for its beautiful balance of livability and longevity." You want to talk about neutrals and an inoffensive color? Pick khaki that's universal. And I think that's what you have here. It is just interesting to me that we are picking neutrals, and then we pick literal khaki, the most neutral of the neutrals, the most inoffensive color that's ever been. It's the color of like sand. Look, okay, I am not a brave person when it comes to color, obviously. I am in a room with white walls. My entire house has white walls, okay? And it's all the same white. It's this white one, okay? So I'm not brave when it comes to paint color, but I just do not like khaki on walls at all. To me, it feels like you could not commit to a brown. So you're like, well, I don't want to go full brown, so let's just do khaki because then it's kind of like white. Right? That's kind of what it feels like to me. Like we couldn't commit, so we're going to pick a khaki because it's the middle, like in between. The image, I almost said stock image, but the image that they gave us is this khaki color on walls, and all the trim is white, and all the curtains are white, and everything's beige. It's just a flavor of beige, which, is that a 2026 thing? I feel like beige is very 2018 and very 2019. And when was Kim Kardashian's house tour of when her whole house was beige? I feel like it was all this color of beige. Is that interesting? Is that worth color of the year? So we're on 3rd neutral, basically. Look, okay, I'll say the Hidden Gem was not a neutral because it really was a beautiful color. So we at least have 2 neutrals with a low-key green and then a literal khaki. The final color of the year that I'm going to talk about in this video is the Pantone 2026 color of the year, Cloud Dancer, a lofty white that serves as a symbol of calming influence in a society rediscovering the value of quiet reflection. The other quote they give, a billowy white imbued with serenity, Pantone 11-4201 Cloud Dancer encourages true relaxation and focus, allowing the mind to wander and creativity to breathe, making room for innovation. Look, I love white. I do. Obviously, I've talked about it already in this video. You've already seen it. I'm wearing it. I'm in the room. It's all the same white color, which I love. I love that for me. Would I pick this white color as a color of the year ever? As someone who lives in it? No, because it's boring. And the reason why I painted my entire house white is because it's boring. I like that it is white, and I like that it is clean and fresh. I don't know, you can't really tell from the video, but all of my walls have like a semi shine to it. So the light refractivity is pretty high. So there's lots of sunlight coming in. I love a bright white space. That is my vibe. I offset it with all of the wood. I offset it with like fun pattern rugs and lots of plants. Like that is my vibe. I would not pick this color as a color of the year. I just wouldn't, because it's boring and it's not a sad color. Look, okay, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think this color is more sad white than the one I have. Every single color on this list is so boring and feels really dated. And I just don't really know why that is. The only reason I can think of why they pick these colors, and we're getting into my final thoughts here on the color of the year, is that it is either to play it safe, like so safe, where no one is going to be like, I hate that color. Or two, I feel like Pantone could have picked white as rage bait. And I know what you're thinking. That is so cynical to think that. That's so cynical to think of a company, a huge company who's known for color, to pick white so that people would talk about them. And I'm just saying, there's different marketing tactics. And all of these people that have given quotes about their color of the year are all from the marketing teams. So I'm not saying it's a conspiracy or anything, but if I needed someone to talk about my company and I wanted them to chat and talk about it and it be everywhere and it to blow up, and then also have people attach like moral goodness or badness to it, I would pick a white color if I just wanted people to talk about my company. That's what I would do. And I know that sounds like so depressing and sad, and like maybe it is. That could be me. I've been going through a lot lately. This just feels like marketing to me. And I don't really think it's actually a trend of 2026. With all of that boring stuff out of the way, everyone else's color of the year, 2026, I thought that I should pick my own color of the year for 2026. It is this blue color. And I picked this color because one, I think it's gorgeous. I think it makes me so happy. I think it's just beautiful. It's stunning. But also, I see this color everywhere. And I did not see it until probably like 3 months ago. Was like the first time I started seeing it. And if I were going to pick a color for 2026, this is the color I would pick. I am just constantly starting to see it talked about. People are pairing it with like a bright red, which I think is really fun and cool and fresh, but still nostalgic, but it also gives like a fun like 90s rom-com vibe. I think it'd be super fun in a bathroom. I went to a friend's house once who had this color in their bathroom in the tiles because it was a house from like the 60s and it was awesome. I would totally do this in the bathroom. I also have seen sinks and bathtubs this color, and I don't care what you say, but that is so fun and so interesting and way better than a neutral. It might be dated someday, but if you love it, I don't think it's going to be honest with you. I think we're in a moment. I think we're in a decade of fun color. I think this blue is going to be huge this year. I think pairing it with a red is just so pretty and amazing. And I've already seen it happening, and I think it's going to take off. And you should listen to me because I have no credentials and I am not a part of the Pantone marketing team or their color analysts. And I don't know anything. And I have white walls. That's why you should listen to my color of the year for 2026. Like I said, I know that I'm super late to this, and I know everyone's already talked about it ad nauseum and no one really cares anymore, but I just find color of the year so interesting because it's just like a fun little thing to look forward to. It's fun to chat about. It is fun to talk about something that doesn't really matter in the long term, something kind of frivolous. So I do love it, and I want them to keep doing it. I want them to keep doing the color of the year. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to chat about. I'm not going to tell you any advice about how to decorate with any of these colors because I just don't like any of them. But you should decorate with that blue color because it's amazing and beautiful. If you were Pantone and you had all the power, what color would you pick for color of the year for 2026? It could be your favorite color. It could be what you actually see trending in your life. I would love to know down below. So be sure to leave a comment about that, and be sure to like and subscribe and share this video. I will see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.